Hey everybody, Richard from the Big Guy Garage. I wanted to help you for a second here if you're looking to do a body swap. And I'm going to show you what you really need to look for when you're doing this. Because not using the right donor on the right body will leave you with 10 times more work than you really have to do. So what you're really going to look for, I'm going to write out here for you and I'm going to explain it to you. Alright, so what you're really going to look for is your wheelbase. Now what that is the wheelbase is between the wheel on the front and on the back. Okay, and you're going to want them to be, let's say, if this is your classic, you want to body swap, you're going to want to find something that, let's say, is 115, because a lot of stuff's 115 inches, believe it or not, on old bodies. But if that's your wheelbase on your classic, then whatever your new car or new frame is, let's put new frame. New frame is, you want it to be 115 or bigger, because you can cut the frame. Now, that's pretty easy to find. Those will get you every time, because a lot of the S10s and Dakotas and Durangos and even some of the Rams can work on a lot of these things. But what you really have to also look for that will really get you is your track width. And what that can be is, for example, your classics could be, let's say it's 50 inches. And now what that is, that they measure them weird, and that's halfway between the wheel to the outside of the other wheel. I know that's weird how they measure those, but that's your track width. And let's say that is 50 inches. Now, you can't do nothing about that. You can change your wheels and put smaller wheels on it. I mean, let's say these are 8.5s on your classic. Now, the back could be bigger. Most of the time, the rear end is skinnier than the front end. I know, it's weird, but it is. So let's say your donor your new frame is 51 inches. Now, I know that don't sound like it's going to be a big problem, but that's a ½ inch on both sides. That if you have a fender gap that's really close on both sides, you'll be hitting. You could roll it, but you might not be able to roll it. Stuff like the trucks they can roll a little, but not much. But at the same time, your new frame could have 8.5s on it. And you can put them down to some, pizza cutters and run 7s on them. And that's going to give you more room. Or you can just run 8s, and that would give you your ½ inch. But you would actually have to check your back spacing too. Because if you get 8-inch wheels and the back spacing's the same, it's still going to be sticking out. But these are the two major things you're going to really want to look for when you're doing a body swap. Who cares about motor or trans if the frame don't fit? You can change motors, you can change trans. But once you start welding to that frame, you're stuck with it. So these are the basics. That's the basics of the body swap right there. Start with the chassis. So even if you want an LS, you can get a Dakota frame, and then you have rack and pinion, and then you just have to make your own motor mounts and drop in your LS. That's easy peasy, That's way easier than trying to figure out how to shrink a frame. Let's say it was 53 inches. You're not going to fit that 53-inch frame under a 50-inch body. It don't work like that. So you really got to watch your track width. Track width is your number one enemy. Your number two enemy is your wheelbase. You can lengthen and you can shorten, but it's a little bit sketchy to lengthen compared to shortening them. But that is your bare bones basics for a body swap.